10 daily habits that quietly lower your IQ. Let's get right into it. Number 1, empty confidence. There's a fascinating glitch in the human brain called the Dunning-Kruger effect, which basically states that the less you know about something, the more you think you're an expert. It's the reason your cousin, after watching one YouTube video, is suddenly convinced he can solve global economic crises from his armchair. This empty confidence is a silent IQ killer because it transforms you from a learner into a lecturer. When you're constantly dominating conversations with half-baked opinions, you're not absorbing new information, you're just broadcasting your own ignorance. Think of your brain as a fortress. Curiosity and humility are the scouts you send out to gather intelligence. But when you act like a know-it-all, you seal the gates and fire all the scouts. You stop asking questions, you dismiss differing viewpoints, and you insulate yourself in a bubble of comfortable misinformation. True intelligence thrives on updating its own software with new data. This habit, however, runs the same outdated program on a loop, becoming less and less capable of navigating a complex world. The first step to getting smarter isn't learning a new fact, it's admitting you don't know everything. Number 2, rigid thinking. Your brain loves shortcuts. It builds mental highways for tasks you do often, allowing you to operate on the autopilot. This is great for efficiency, but it has a dark side, rigid thinking. This is the stubborn refusal to try a new route to work, even when your GPS shows a massive traffic jam on your usual path. It's clinging to old, inefficient methods simply because they're familiar. You're not just resistant to change, you're actively choosing a worse outcome to avoid the minor discomfort of learning something new. Cognitive flexibility is a cornerstone of intelligence. It's the ability to pivot, adapt your strategy, and look at a problem from a different angle. When you let rigid thinking take over, that mental muscle atrophies. You become intellectually brittle. The world is constantly changing, presenting new problems that require novel solutions. If your entire toolkit consists of one old rusty hammer, you'll be useless when you're faced with a screw. Sticking to the old ways doesn't make you principled, it makes you obsolete, and it quietly lowers your ability to solve the problems of today, let alone tomorrow. Number 3, always seeking instant gratification. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain, a system fine-tuned by dopamine. But modern life has hacked this system. Why read a challenging chapter of a book for a delayed sense of accomplishment when you can get 100 tiny dopamine hits from scrolling through social media right now? This is the trap of instant gratification. It's choosing the sugary snack over the healthy meal, the impulsive online purchase over long-term savings. Every time you pick the easy, immediate reward, you're training your brain to devalue effort. This habit is disastrous for your higher-level thinking. The prefrontal cortex, your brain's CEO in charge of planning, impulse control, and long-term goals, gets sidelined. It learns that patience is pointless and deep focus is unnecessary. Over time, your ability to persevere through difficult tasks diminishes. You become a creature of impulse, unable to commit to any goal that doesn't provide an immediate payoff. Intelligence isn't just about knowing things, it's about having the discipline and focus to acquire and apply knowledge, a skill that is systematically eroded by the constant demand for now. Number 4, addiction to TV and social media. Think of your brain's attention as a muscle. When you engage in a challenging task like solving a puzzle or learning a new skill, you're giving that muscle a proper workout. But when you spend hours passively consuming content, binge watching a series, or scrolling through an infinite social media feed, you're not working out. You're just sitting on the couch watching other people work out. This state of passive consumption is incredibly draining because it requires just enough engagement to keep you hooked, but not enough to be mentally stimulating. It's the cognitive equivalent of junk food. It feels good in the moment, but leaves you sluggish and malnourished. This habit quietly lowers your IQ by weakening your capacity for deep focus. The constant, rapid-fire cuts, notifications, and new posts train your brain to expect novelty every few seconds. As a result, your baseline attention span shrinks. When you finally try to sit down and read a book or work on a complex project, your brain rebels. It feels bored, agitated, and craves the easy stimulation it has grown accustomed to. You're effectively conditioning your mind to be a sprinter that can only run in 10-second bursts, making it incapable of the intellectual endurance required for any truly intelligent work. Number 5. Poor listening skills. We've all been in a conversation with someone who isn't really listening. They're just waiting for their turn to talk. They interrupt, finish your sentences incorrectly, and are already forming their rebuttal before you've even made your point. This isn't just a social faux pas, it's a critical learning disability in disguise. Every conversation is an opportunity to gather data, see a different perspective, or learn something you didn't know. By being a poor listener, you slam that window of opportunity shut. You are essentially telling the world, nothing you can say is more valuable than what I'm already thinking. This habit is a direct symptom of an ego that's blocking intellectual growth. When you assume you already know everything, you stop being curious. You filter everything you hear through the lens of your own biases, only picking up what confirms your existing beliefs. This is the opposite of how intelligence works. A sharp mind is inquisitive. It probes, questions, and synthesizes new information. Poor listening skills ensure that your pool of knowledge remains stagnant and shallow. You might win a few arguments by being the loudest person in the room, but you'll lose the much bigger prize, the chance to actually become smarter. Number 6. Blindly following trends. One week, your friend is a minimalist who only owns 3 beige shirts. The next, they're a crypto trading maximalist obsessed with NFTs. The week after, they're really into artisanal bread making. While trying new things is healthy, blindly hopping from one trend to the next without any real introspection is a sign of a weak intellectual core. It's a habit of outsourcing your personality. Instead of building a stable identity based on your own values, experiences, and critical thought, you're simply downloading a pre-packaged persona that the internet has deemed cool this month. This constant identity swapping harms your intelligence by preventing the development of deep, specialized knowledge and self-awareness. You never stick with anything long enough to move beyond a superficial understanding. Your mind becomes a collection of shallow interests rather than a repository of profound expertise. More importantly, it shows an unwillingness to do the hard internal work of figuring out what you actually want and believe. True intelligence requires a degree of autonomy and independent thought. If your sense of self is dictated by the algorithm, you're not thinking for yourself. You're just a reflection of what's currently trending. Number 7. Only engaging in small talk. You know the conversations, traffic, weather, what you had for lunch. This is small talk, the conversational equivalent of running on a treadmill. You're putting in the time, your mouth is moving, but you're not actually going anywhere. While it serves a social function, a mind that only operates in this shallow end of the pool will never learn to swim in deeper waters. Avoiding complex, abstract, or challenging discussions is a habit that stunts your intellectual growth by keeping your brain on a diet of mental junk food. Deeper conversations about ideas, philosophy, science, art, or complex human emotions are like a full-body workout for your brain. They force you to articulate nuanced thoughts, defend your positions with logic, and integrate new perspectives. This is where your critical reasoning, abstract thinking, and vocabulary expand. By sticking exclusively to safe, superficial topics, you are signaling to your brain that these muscles aren't needed. Over time, they weaken. Your ability to grapple with complexity diminishes, and your worldview shrinks. Intelligence isn't just about the facts you know, it's about your ability to connect them, debate them, and explore their implications. Small talk keeps all your facts in separate, uninteresting little boxes. Number 8. Believing in superstitions and conspiracy theories. Your brain is a pattern-finding machine. It's an evolutionary feature that helped our ancestors figure out that rustling bushes might mean a predator is nearby. But sometimes, this feature goes haywire. It starts connecting dots that aren't there, leading you to believe that wearing your lucky socks will help you pass an exam, or that a secret cabal of lizard people is running the government. Embracing superstitions and conspiracy theories isn't just a quirky personality trait. It's a symptom of your critical thinking faculties being bypassed. This habit is a direct assault on your intelligence because it actively trains your brain to abandon logic and evidence in favor of emotionally satisfying narratives. It prioritizes feeling right over being right. When you accept a conspiracy theory, you're often engaging in motivated reasoning, cherry-picking data that confirms your bias and ignoring mountains of evidence to the contrary. You learn to distrust experts, doubt verifiable facts, and live in a world governed by gut feelings and wild speculation. This fundamentally rewires your approach to problem solving. Instead of a rational, evidence-based process, your thinking becomes a messy web of suspicion and cognitive leaps, making you easily manipulated and intellectually isolated. Number 9. Chronic sleep deprivation. In our hustle-obsessed culture, sleep is often seen as a luxury or a sign of weakness. Pulling an all-nighter is a badge of honor. In reality, consistently skimping on sleep is one of the fastest and most effective ways to lower your functional IQ. Sleep isn't just your body powering down, it's your brain's essential nightly maintenance cycle. While you sleep, your brain is furiously at work clearing out metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day, consolidating memories, and forging new neural connections. Depriving your brain of this crucial process is like forcing an office to work 247 without ever taking out the trash or filing the paperwork. The system quickly becomes cluttered, slow, and inefficient. Studies have shown that after just one night of poor sleep, cognitive performance, including attention, memory, and decision-making, can be impaired to the same degree as if you were legally drunk. Chronic sleep deprivation doesn't just make you feel tired, it literally makes your brain dirtier, less organized, and fundamentally dumber. It doesn't matter how much you study or work. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of mud. Number 10. Fear of being alone. Do you know someone who can't stand silence? The moment a conversation ends, the TV goes on. The car can't move without a podcast playing. They walk through their house with headphones on, creating a constant bubble of noise to shield them from the terrifying prospect of being alone with their own thoughts. This fear of solitude is more than just a personality quirk. It's a habit that sabotages your intellect by robbing your brain of its most crucial resource, downtime for processing. Your brain needs moments of quiet and solitude to do its best work. It's in these silent gaps that you connect ideas, reflect on experiences, and engage in the kind of deep, creative thinking that external stimulation interrupts. Think of it like this. Your brain spends all day gathering information. Solitude is the time it gets to sit down, sort through it all, and figure out what it means. By constantly filling the void with noise and distraction, you're never giving it that chance. You're just piling more and more data onto the heap without ever processing it. This leads to a cluttered, reactive mind rather than a clear, proactive one. True genius often sparks in moments of quiet contemplation, not in the middle of a sensory barrage. Learning to be comfortable in silence isn't about being lonely, it's about giving your own brilliant mind a chance to speak. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.